I'm Michael Smerconish from Philly, in for my friend Glenn Beck, who's under the weather. The Anna Nicole Smith saga getting more bizarre by the second. Here's the latest, and pay attention, you might need a scorecard. Two of the men who claim to be the father of Anna Nicole's baby, Larry Burkhead and Howard K. Stern, are now fighting over Anna Nicole's body. Burkhead petitioned a Broward County, Florida court yesterday, asking that Anna Nicole's remains be preserved for DNA testing, enforcing a previous California court order. Today, the Florida judge ruled on Burkhead's behalf. Then a California judge lifted the order, saying that enough DNA was collected and the body should be buried in a timely manner. Now the case is back in a Florida court with arguments to resume tomorrow. Meanwhile, the $500 million baby at the center of all this, 5-month-old Danny Lynn, has been ordered by yet another judge to remain in the Bahamas for the time being because more DNA might be needed. This is good news, sort of, for Anna Nicole's mother, Virgie Arthur, who also wants custody of Danny Lynn. Here's the point tonight. I know it sounds terribly callous, but Danny Lynn will actually be better off without her mother, Anna Nicole. And here's how I get there. It's a horrible assessment, I know, and offered so close to her mom's death. I'm sure it's in the worst of taste, but nobody's saying it, so I've got to say it. We all know someone not cut out to be a parent. Anna Nicole Smith was in that category, and despite the money she'll inherit, her daughter was just a member of the unlucky sperm club. And who knows, maybe her future just changed for the better. To put it even more bluntly, Mom was a glamour-seeking druggie in a world of misfits and wannabes. Her son was already a victim of that world. Maybe the baby would have been next. Here's hoping the child comes out of the money-grubbing paternity circus that's already started in the hands of a court-appointed guardian who can remove her from an environment where old geezers marry porn stars with inflated breasts, where methadone and Slim Fast are more plentiful in the fridge than OJ, and where the question of who's your daddy requires more work than the 9/11 Commission. So, how will this sad, creepy, and tragic tale end? I don't know, but helping me sort it out, Lisa Bloom from Court TV and Caroline Schaefer from Us Weekly. Lisa, gotta ask you, you have a wonderful mom in Gloria Allred. Too bad everybody can't have a mom like Gloria Allred. What do you think of my theory that the kid's better off without that mother? I think it's a sad and cruel thing to say, even in light of what the nanny is saying now, that she was underfeeding the baby to keep her sexy. It's a terrible thing. On the other hand, Anna Nicole was a working single mother all of her life. She never got a dime from that late husband, except gifts he gave her during the marriage. Every dollar she ever made, she made legitimately in legal businesses. She never admitted a crime, as far as we know. She never hurt anyone, and she was blasted her whole life. Why? For being a model, for having plastic surgery, for doing what she could do in this culture to make some money. I think it's sad the less the weekend after her death. It is sad. Yeah, you know what? Let me agree with you. I really do. It is sad and it is cruel, but it's also the truth. I mean, the truth of the matter is, what chance? Well, do you think all Playboy models should die? Is that what you're saying? Do you think all porn? She wasn't a porn star, by the way. She was a Playboy model. Yeah, you know, you say tomato, I say tomato. Then she had a reality show. Then she was a legitimate model for Lane Bryant. Hang on. Yes. Glenn left me in charge for a couple of minutes. What ability would this kid have had to grow up in some sense of normalcy? I mean, look at the cast of characters parading all around the funeral, for goodness sakes. Well, you know, that's not for me to judge. You know, people make different choices. As long as she's not hurting anyone or committing a crime, you know, I'm not going to second guess her. I will say this, that every dollar that she ever made was a fairly earned dollar. You and I work for a living. What's wrong with her working for a living and making money by being in front of the camera? That's what she did. Give me the odds on these different characters who are emerging. Is there a hands-on favorite in terms of who the real daddy is? Yes, definitely Larry Burkhead is a hands-on favorite. Many people have come forward and said that Anna Nicole Smith did tell them while she was pregnant that the dad was Larry Burkhead. And most recently, a speeding ticket came about where Larry Burkhead had said to the cop that he wrote down, you know, my wife is in trouble, I'm going to get her. You know, he went to doctor's appointments with her. This wasn't just a fling, you know, he dated her for 2 years. So Larry Burkhead is definitely the odds-on favorite to be the dad. Howard K. Stern, did he have that middle initial before he met Anna Nicole Smith? That's what I've been wondering all this time. Yes, he did. Oh, he did? Yes, he was born with it. It's like Lee Lee Harvey Oswald. You've got to quickly distinguish yourself. Lisa Bloom, are any of these daddies, quote unquote, going to touch the money? I mean, isn't that what's driving this? And what
Michael,
right do they have?
No, you're totally misunderstood about the money. She never got a dime from her late husband. What she got in the last legal battle was the Supreme Court saying that their case should be in the federal court. So she won the right to keep fighting. She never got any money. We don't know if this baby will ever get any money. That is purely speculative. Larry Burkhead came forward many months ago before the death of Anna Nicole because he believes he's the biological father. He probably is, but you know what? Other people break up during a pregnancy, take up with a new boyfriend. That doesn't mean she deserved to die, Michael.
All right, take it down a notch. We're beyond that issue. You've stated your case. I want to know if Danny Lynn touches the money. Will any of those fathers touch the money?
Well, Howard K. Stern is the executor of the will, so he will probably, it's his right to distribute the funds, as it will.
Well,
so
if there are any funds, there are no funds right now. There's no potential funds right now. What there is only continued litigation that may one day result in the funds. Howard K. Stern, by the way, in my view, is the one who behaved shamefully here because he's a lawyer who was sleeping with his client at the time and naming himself as the executor of the will. He should be disqualified.
Wait a minute. Who are we to judge? Who are we to judge these people?
Lawyer ethical rules are different. I'm not wishing him dead.
I gotcha.
No, because I'm not wishing him dead.
Caroline, tell me about this nanny and what are these new revelations about the nanny? Something about not giving Danny Lynn too much formula because she wouldn't be sexy. Come on, is that true?
Yes, it's unbelievable. This nanny has come forward and said that basically Anna Nicole Smith did not want to give her any more than 2.5 ounces instead of 3 ounces every 3 hours because, wanted to keep the baby thin and sexy, which is just scary. This is a 5-month-old baby we're talking about.
Lisa Bloom, why is it important to get DNA from Anna Nicole's body?
Because Larry Burkhead's attorney is concerned that there might be a baby switch, that they might get the DNA from a baby, doesn't match with Larry Burkhead's, but maybe it's not the right DNA. So the baby's DNA can be linked to Anna Nicole's DNA, then we know we've got the right baby, and then Larry Burkhead's DNA gets linked to the baby, now we've got a match.
So where does the battle among, you heard me at the outset of the program talking about all this court activity around the country. In a case like this where paternity is at issue, what court will trump the other if you had to guess?
The Bahamas court. All this action needs to be in the Bahamas because that's where the baby is, and it's a sovereign nation. They don't have to follow American court orders, so everybody needs to go down to the Bahamas, get a Bahamian judge to order the DNA testing.
What about the mom in this case? What legal right, if any, will she have relative to Danny Lynn?
Well, after the biological father, she might have some rights, but the biological father is going to have the primary right to custody unless he is found to be unfit by a court, and then the grandmother would come in.
Yes, but at this point, she is the next of kin, and so the medical examiner, I think, wants to give the body of Anna to the mom because she wasn't legally bound to Howard or to anybody.
Yeah, I'm talking about the baby, right? As to
the baby too.
As to disposal of the body, you're right. It would be the mother who would decide, unless she was legally married to somebody, which doesn't seem she was.
Caroline, the guy that intrigues me the most is the one married to Zsa. What's his deal?
This is very strange. He basically came out of the woodwork and said that he'd been having a 10-year affair with Anna Nicole Smith, that he met her when she was actually married to Howard Marshall, and that they'd been having this ongoing affair, that his marriage to Zsa is really just a friendship. It's all very, very strange. And, people close to Anna Nicole say that's just rubbish. Anna Nicole hasn't seen this prince in years.
It's a horrible thing to ask, but is Zsa still with us? And I hope that she is. I don't want Lisa to get more upset.
She
is. She's 90 years old and she's still with us.
I mean, it's like Lawrence Welk. I still see Lawrence Welk on television. I'm never sure. Is Lawrence Welk still with us? I don't know.
That just goes to show, just because somebody comes out of the woodwork and says something after somebody's dead doesn't make it so. Anna's not here to defend against all of these guys who are saying they might be the father. It could be they never even met her.
Yeah, well, but on the other hand, if they all met her and if they all knew her in the sense that they claim, it tells us a little bit about her character.
That's a big if. She's not here to defend herself. She just died.
Yeah, Lisa, I got to say what everybody is thinking but afraid to say. I mean,
everybody is not thinking that.
They are
Michael,
thinking
guess what? Newsbreak. They're not all thinking that.
No, Newsbreak. They are. They're saying, you know what? For the best interest of this child.
You know what? Some people have a heart for a woman who just died.
I have a heart for a woman who just died, but let me tell you something. I get a bigger heart for the kid who needs a proper upbringing, and she wasn't going to get it surrounded by all these misfits and wannabes.
Well, you don't know that's who she was surrounded with. She was living with Anna's current flame, Howard Stern.
Who may have been starving her.
She had, maybe she was, maybe she wasn't. This is an affidavit filed by a nanny who had just been fired. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not. As I say, Anna's not here to defend herself. We're not hearing both sides.
If the nanny is correct and the kid's formula intake was being limited to keep her sexy,
that's a terrible thing.
Yeah.
It's a terrible thing. But you know what? Daniel was very close to Anna all of his life. And you could see on the reality show they had a very close relationship. I'm a single mom. I'm very close to my kids. And I resent everybody coming out and attacking this woman after she's dead, when what she did, as far as I can tell, was worked hard in legitimate businesses, raising her son all of her life. That's what she did.
Thank you, Lisa, and thank you, Caroline.
Thank you.
Coming up.